Hello and welcome to Rolling with Reviews. I'm Will, and with me as always is the one who plays Crane Style,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a review of Construction Zone. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
Alright, in Construction Zone, players are trying to construct new buildings.
Not old ones.
Not old ones. Basic resources can be easily drafted, but advanced resources must be traded for. As the game progresses and resources are spent to build buildings, advanced resources filter into the pool of cards to be drafted from. The winner is the person to build a certain number of buildings based on the player count. All right, Will, so you want to tell us why we got this?
Yeah.
It's a long story.
Sadly, it was almost I would say a grail game of ours.
It was a bizarre grail game of ours.
So the way it became that is early on, we were getting into gaming.
2013-ish.
Yes, and we were looking at a lot of reviews, and one of the ones that popped up on the Dice Tower was Construction Zone. And we're like, wow, that looks neat.
That's super awesome.
Let's put it on the list. And that's the last time we critically thought about the game
because we couldn't find it. We couldn't find it, so we just kind of put it on the back burner.
Well, I saw it a few times, but we never
made it a priority.
Since then, our taste and our pickiness when it came to judging a game's mechanics and what it offers has been refined over the years. Like I said, we have no longer thought of this critically, why we'd want Construction Zone since that early days in 2013, like you said. So, Sarah went looking for it.
No, fast forward to a little bit before the recording of this video, so probably a month or so before this video gets posted. I saw a look back where Tom looked back over old reviews he did, including Construction Zone, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, wasn't that a game we wanted at one point? And I told Will about it, and he's like, well, see if it's available anywhere. And so I saw a few copies were available on for trade on Board Game Geek. And I started contacting people, and I found somebody who was willing to trade it, so we traded a game we didn't want to get it.
Yes, brand new copy too.
Brand new copy. We opened the shrink wrap and everything.
As you do with new games
that are old.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what we like about the game.
All right. I like that it's quick.
It is very quick to play.
Yes. And it has a rather interesting distribution method. So as you're gaining resources, you're of course using them up. One of the things you can do when you're gaining resources is, well, you'll gain two resources from the display.
That are basic.
That are basic. Well, sometimes not. As we go on. At the beginning of the game, they're all basic. But then you can trade into cards, any two cards, for an advanced resource.
Right.
Those, as they get used, get put in the discard, and they'll get shuffled in when you have to reshuffle the deck. Right. So that means as the game goes on, the cards that come into display could also be advanced resources.
Yeah, that is something I will have to say that I've not seen in other games. This kind of, usually resources stay at the value that they are.
Yeah, they'll go back to their resource pile that's matching. This one actually intermingles that and makes it so that the choices that you've made earlier on have a bigger and bigger impact later on in the game.
Right. Now there's still the element of the random element because they get shuffled. So it could come out at a time that, well, it's not your turn, so you can't take it. But they do come out. So that is really interesting. Unfortunately, that's about it that we like about the game.
Okay.
What we don't like is terrible graphic design. I mean,
it's old school.
It is definitely dated, old school, just poor contrast, just terrible choices in everything, which does unfortunately affect the accessibility of it. It's also pretty bland gameplay other than that choice. These building cards have a various amount of different icons. So you're drafting resources, and as soon as you can, you turn them in for building. In fact, I think it says you can't not build a building.
Right, if you have the resources.
If you have the resources, you have to build a building. So the game just moves itself forward, whether you like it, but on the other hand, you like it because it's getting closer to the end.
Well, there is an element in there that is in the game's favor.
Yeah.
We played it open-handed because we was like, oh, well, you can't affect my hand, I can't affect your hand. Knowing what's in someone else's hand can actually affect the fact that, well, I know I shouldn't be going for that building.
True.
Because if I do, they're just going to beat me to it, and then now I have to rejigger my hand to go after something else. So that element got completely ruined, and I think that's a big element for this game.
True. I think if we could actually play it with secret hands, like you're supposed to, that would keep the tension going better. I'm still not sure how much more interesting it would be, but there would be more tension of, well, does he have what he needs? Is he going to build that one? I don't know. And
I only vaguely remember he traded in for this.
Yeah, I'm not going to, if you're not good at keeping track of what people are taking.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because of the graphic design, he could not play.
I don't think we tried.
I don't think you'd be able to identify the different icons.
I could make up things in my head.
That's true.
Then I can build anything.
I think in general, this is a good concept that just needed further development. That whole, the advanced resources getting into the basic resource drafting pool is really neat.
Yeah. I was thinking that if I would do any work on it, it would be to give the buildings you build some sort of prestige ability.
Yeah.
Like, yes, my firm is the one who built this, and as such, I get, this favors and this notoriety, which gives me this in-game benefit.
Yeah, it is a very simple, basic game that definitely doesn't hold up as well in today's standards.
Because the game as is you build the building, it goes there, and now it counts to your total towards...
Right, it's the countdown timer. Yeah. That's it. Whoever builds the number, like with 2 players, you're supposed to, whoever builds 10 buildings first wins.
Yes.
That's that.
Yep.
Okay, so who this is for, well, this would have been for the casual and family gamers, but probably in everyone's interest, it's a good thing this is not readily available.
Yeah, I think you actually need to be a hardcore gamer or a collector to reliably find it.
Right.
And those aren't the people I'd recommend picking it up.
Not at all.
So, yeah. So just to warn you, if you see it in a bargain bin and you need it for a family friend, someone who doesn't want very complex rules, this is actually a really great game for them.
Yeah, because it does have an interesting twist to it.
Yeah.
When you play it closed-handed.
Yes.
All right, let's go on to our ratings.
So for our ratings, we each have 1d6 worth of ratings to give. 1 is low, 6 is high. We give a number, a reason why, add them together, see what it rolled for us. Sarah, what did Construction Zone roll for you?
It rolled a 2, and I will have to say I'm being very generous at that. And I think it's because it does have an interesting, that mechanism of the resources. Everything else about it, I hate the graphic design, I hate the art. The rest of it's a pretty big meh for me. I have to say, I know right now we're probably going to keep it because we have the room for it, but I have a feeling it will be the first on the next chopping block when we cull our collection.
Yes. For me, a 2 as well. Pretty much for the same reasons.
Yeah.
It was probably the right game for us back when we first looked at it.
Yeah.
Because it would have been the right speed, the right learning level.
We would have appreciated it a lot more back then.
Yes. We are hardcore gamers.
Now, yes.
And it's not for us.
No.
So, yeah, this is going to be a game that can get cold pretty easily.
Yeah.
4 out of 12, not a great score. But it does have some promise, especially if you can get it to that family weight and casual gamers who aren't going to find it.
Assuming they're also okay with the art and graphic design, because it is pretty poor for modern standards.
Yeah.
But for having finally found one of our very few sort of Grail games, because we typically don't do Grail games, this was, I'm glad we could close the book on this one.
Yes. And Sarah, now that we built upon that, What have we learned about Grail games?
Just find new games.
Yes.
There's plenty of new games coming out all the time. So if there's an old one that you can't get, don't pay. Well, thankfully we did trade for this. So at least I didn't pay, overpay for it.
Right.
We just traded it for it. So that was a good way to do it. So yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I had an old game way back when that I absolutely loved. And it was the one that Restoration Games is currently doing. It was the Catapults and Crossbows.
Yes.
I just decided to tell you about it because I knew nowadays it's not a game we need.
No.
But I wanted to share.
Yeah. Oh, it's always fun to be like, oh, this was a thing I really liked or something, because you can share that with other people. But it's not always worth pursuing it.
All right. And that'll do it for us. And we've been Rolling with Reviews. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you. Because remember, he's rolling with you.